Night claims the Godavari. Hindu vegetarian breakfast proffered the stewardess, but a cold wind had blown the fog from about the Delhi airport, and before we finished, the plane landed unexpectedly on time. The city was dug up for the new metro, looking subversive, broken. We drove past the sadness of poverty at night, slums of plastic bags barely off the ground, gunny sack doors battled against the freeze. I climbed up the stairs between houses all turned into apartments since my childhood, where one family lived mostly 8, with offices in the basement, servants on the roof, underground, atop the water tanks. I climbed to our flat. Sure, it remained as always, the inauthentic but beautiful painting of a blue-robed scholar painted over an old Persian manuscript. My narrow bed with its mattress worn into my childhood shape. The photograph of all of us before we left. 2 silent brothers, 2 talkative sisters, and a dog who was smiling, his teeth a shining, grinning star. Our love for him was the love that first taught us about death. My father was waiting in his brown dressing gown, familiar to me over the years, but oddly he was also wearing gloves and a hat. His smile arrived slowly as if from far away. Tonics didn't help, nor the homeopathic, the Ayurvedic, the herbal. He was sinking. The body gives way so fast, so fast. We lived in hospitals that were in a constantly unsettled state between decay and renovation, thronging with people from all over the third or renegade world, Afghanistan, Iran, Nigeria. Together in a broken parking lot, men and women doing namaz, sleeping by the defunct fountain, a train station's worth of bedraggled bundles lying about. We waited hour upon hour for the loudspeaker to announce the name of a relative in emergency. Our family coordinates, first displaced by migration, were being displaced again. With illness, it felt like we needed more in the first place. When I came back from the hospital, I was quite alone with the family bookshelves. The library now relied on memory and love. To find a book, you'd have to have known the titles from before the orange and pale green blue spines faded. It was still an antidote to open those pages without smelling of tobacco, dust, or mustardy pungency distilled by age. I remembered how an educated madman, living in the ruined seam of a mosque behind our house, used to pee an arc under the moon and scream, India, Pakistan, argh! I'm not a good growler. Probably in reference to an anguished journey that never resulted in a home. In the distance, there was still the familiar grinding of trucks driving turnips and cement, chickens and bathroom tiles across the nation, unsettling the night with the sound of endless rushing travel. I read a Marquez story my mother had admired, the incredible and sad tale of innocent Erendira and a heartless grandmother. Exhausted Erendira, who has labored hard to bathe her fat and terrifying granny, falls asleep with her candle burning, and a wind of misfortune catches flame to curtain. To repay the debt of the singered hacienda, she is prostituted across the landscape. She services client after client, but never makes enough. Across the desert they go, following men, being followed, the granny pin holding a giant cross, and Erendira in a grand bed, carried by porters. A bit wobbly in the soul, I traveled to coastal Andhra Pradesh, to the delta region of the Godavari River. On the streets of a village we drove through, I noticed an overabundance of beds. Beds being delivered, new old beds, makeshift stage-set beds, cheap beds being varnished in the sun, mattresses in the dust. Around the strangeness of beds proliferating, village life seemed as benign as Narayan's Malgudi stories, that had created my idea of what it meant to be Indian in this world in the sweetest incarnation possible. Little shops for cigarettes and sweets, cows wandering, men riding cycles on the way to the banana market by the river's edge, bananas tied to the handlebars, their color matte or shocking, green and yellow, green and yellow, green is green, and the yellow is yellow. Sound of water pouring into pails, out of pails, a jeep going by with some policemen poking their heads out. This world was normal, except it was really entirely something else. The women getting children ready in tiny shorts and mini ties on elastic bands were all sex workers. The children with their homework were the children of men who stayed 5 minutes for a shot. The cycle rickshaw men were pimps who found extra business when auto rickshaws drove down their income. The gas station men were also pimps, and so were the dhaba men. A 20% or 30% cut. The lorry drivers, the coolies, were clients. Others in the streets were brokers, some 300 of them. Men coming back with groceries were temporary husbands. The old lady at her gate was a brothel madam, haggling over the price of girls she was buying from desperately poor parents. Colored Christmas stars over bungalows revealed a missionary drive to save the fallen. The policeman was slowing down, hoping to catch someone soliciting. They'd let her go again in exchange for free sex. St. Pedapuram, and every man grins. This is a village of high-class sex workers from the Kalavantaru subcaste. Hereditary courtesans and temple dancers, famous for their elegant beauty. Almost every family is involved in the trade. They trace their lineage from the days when they were protected by royalty, priests and landowners, all the way downhill to a franker prostitution as patronage crumbled in a modernizing India of another shade of morality. There is still a lot of money in this business.